We'll call the meeting to order. Invocation, Alderman Ashby, please.
Our gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this time of the year. Lord, we just thank you for what you chose to do for us. And we don't, not a day that goes by, Lord, that we don't reflect on what you chose to do for us as Christians. Lord, we love you. We just thank you that you lead us through this meeting tonight. Help us to make the right decisions to move the city of Crowley forward, Lord, and that we would just love and respect each other. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Chief, you want to lead us in the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank y'all. Roll call. Madam Clerk, please.
Chuck Ashby. Here. Katie Chasson. Yes, here. Bride Core.
Present.
Jeff Doré. Here. Dickie Lachele. Vernon Martin. Sandy Marks. Here. Samuel Reggie.
Here.
And Byron Woolridge is absent.
Thank you, ma'am. Appearances, we have none. Agenda amendments, we need to amend the agenda in public safety to add the Rice Palace Incorporated Restaurant 2025 renewal for beer, retail beer and liquor permit.
Mayor, I'll offer it.
Offered by Alderman Martin, second by Alderman Core. Roll call.
Chuck Ashby. Yes. Katie Chasson. Yes. Bride Core.
Yes.
Jeff Doré. Yes. Dickie Lachele. Yes. Vernon Martin. Yes. Sandy Marks. Yes. Samuel Reggie. Yes. Byron Woolridge. Not here. Motion carried.
Thank you, ma'am. And one more amendment to add a resolution for not a resolution, a CEA. I don't know where that. Yes. A resolution to authorize a CEA between the City of Crowley, the Acadia Parish Police Jury, and the Acadia Parish Tours Commission. And this is to transfer the ownership of the Rice Museum and the artifacts that are involved in such. The Acadia Parish Tours Commission is interested in taking over those duties. Offered by Alderwoman Marks.
Second.
Second by Alderman Core. Roll call, please.
Yes.
Katie Chasson. Yes. Bride Core.
Yes.
Jeff Doré. Yes. Dickie Lachele. Yes. Vernon Martin. Yes. Sandy Marks. Yes. Sammy Reggie. Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Approval of minutes of the regular council meeting held on November 19th of 2024. Offered by Alderman Martin.
Second.
Second by Alderman Core. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Mayor's report. Did you get this? Didn't. We didn't get numbers in time for the sales tax. So as soon as we get those updates on that stuff, we will let you know. We'll send, Chantel will send it in the email. We didn't get it in time today to do that. That happens around this time of the year, the school board and holidays and all of that mess. So calendar doesn't work very well. But as soon as we get that number, we will send it to you. User fee chart is there. That doesn't look like complete numbers. So we did get another check for the sewer user fees today, but didn't have it before the meeting, so that's not a complete number either. So we'll send you the updated user fee also. You have a status report of audit findings for fiscal year '23 as required in your packets. That's part of the requirement from the audit findings. And then you also have your budget to actual comparison as of November 24 in your packets. Also, couple of things. The ladies at City Hall have been working diligently to make things happen. We were closed last week. It was Monday last week. We had City Hall closed. Although everyone was at work, the building was closed, and we were not answering phones to allow them to do some training on the new software that will be implemented, hopefully still January 1st. They're pushing as strong as they can along, but they are working very hard to get that done. That software changes all of the financial operations software and everything, payroll and all. So it's a very in-depth change there. So they've been working hard on it. So after that's done, you will all have access to each, basically all of the budget, to be able to look at it and see where the spending is and how much is left and all that good stuff. So, Mr. Reggie?
I guess it's unrelated to this part, but what is the hours of City Hall going to be with the Christmas and New Year's? What y'all planning?
We are closed, well, Thanksgiving is gone. Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and then New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Yes, sir. All right, let's see. Standing committee reports. Public Works Committee, Alderman Dore.
Thank you, Mayor. Public Works Committee convened Tuesday, December 10th, 2024, 5 p.m. in the council chambers. A quorum was present. Motion was offered by Alderwoman Sandy Mark, seconded by Alderman Vernon Martin, to award contract for fiscal year 2024-2025 materials contract for the period of March the 1st, 2025 through July the 31st, 2025, in accordance with the city's engineer bid tabulations and recommendations. The motion carried. I so move.
Offered by Alderman Dore, second by Alderman Martin. Discussion? Oh, yes, it is attached. Yes. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under non-action items, Public Works Director Albert John was not present. Street Commissioner Wesley Jacobs presented his monthly report. City Engineer Tim Mader presented his report. No further business to come before Public Works. The committee recessed.
Thank you, sir. And you'll hear in Revenue and Finance, if you noticed on the agenda, and then a resolution with some very hard work and persistence from our street commissioner. We found an opportunity that we're able to get them some trucks. So we're hopeful to leave in the morning with a check to go pick them up. Microphone.
Over on Avenue D, North Avenue D, that catch basin they did in front of the PNAC property, they did an excellent job. I looked at that thing today and I'm like, well, then go ahead, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Wesley's back there and he's listening, but they did a great job there, and that's really going to help that spot. We have another spot on East 8th Street, between 8th and 9th, that we got to work on, but it's not going to be as easy. But just so happened they had a cross drain there that really helped out. Okay, let's see. Utility Committee, Alderman Martin, please, sir.
Well, Mayor, before we move on, Jeff, Tim, did y'all get a chance to check 9th Street Okay, well, as soon as you can, man, I would appreciate it, because it was asked about, and I told him that I had brought it up at the meeting. Okay, not a problem. Thank you for that. Between Avenue A and really E, it goes all the way down. I mean, but the worst is between Avenue A and I want to say maybe D. Yeah. Yeah. It's on the east side of, well, the north side, I'm sorry. Most of it is. Okay, you ready for your utility?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Utility Committee convened Tuesday, December 10th at 5 p.m. in council chambers. A quorum was present. There were no action items. Under non-action items, wastewater superintendent Tim Crater was not present, and Mayor Marceau read his report. And then City Engineer Tim Mader presented the his monthly report. There was nothing further to come before Utility Committee. The committee recessed.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Let's see, Recreation Committee, Alderman Ashby, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Recreation Committee convened Tuesday, December 10th, 2024, 5 o'clock in the council chambers, and a quorum was present. Under action items, there was none. Under non-action items, Recreation Director Zach Duyon presented the monthly Recreation Department report. City Engineer Tim Mader presented the monthly engineer's report. Alderwoman Sandy Marks asked Mr. Duyon if they could look into repairing the lights on the tennis court in the 8th Street Park. There were no further actions to come before the Recreation Committee, and the committee recessed.
Thank you, sir. Let's, zoning and annexation. Alderman Reggie, please.
Thank you. The Zoning and Annexation Committee convened Tuesday, December 10th, 2024, 5 p.m. in the council chambers. A quorum was present. Under action items, a motion was made by myself and seconded by Alderman Vernon Martin to amend the agenda to include the subdivide as shown on preliminary and plat showing Lot 3 owned by Dixiefield Property, LLC, located in the city of Crowley, and to consider a conditional use to occupy a learning center located 514 West 10th
Hold
Street.
on, we gotta do the,
Oh, you want to do that one first?
we gotta do the,
You want to do,
plaque showing,
yeah, so, yeah, showing Lot 3. I mean, I can change the wording to do a ISO move. Yeah, so I'll say that preliminary and plat showing Lot 3 owned by Dixiefield Property LLC located in the city of Crowley, and ISO move.
I see what you, yeah. That was to, the first thing you was reading was to amend the agenda?
Yes.
Okay. But, so you've offered to consider the subdivide as shown on preliminary plat showing Lot 3 owned by Dixiefield Property LLC.
But I think she said it was Lot 11.
So we're gonna have to, we gotta figure that out. Mr. Mader's gonna help us with figuring out how we're gonna make that motion. You ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Are we at the point where we're actually moving on the action on the subdivision plat itself, or we're still at the agenda amendment?
Ms. Chantel said I need to amend what I just said to say, right here, to approve the preliminary and final plat for Dixiefield Property LLC showing Lot 11 being a commercial subdivision located in Section 43, Township 9, South, Range 1, East, City of Crowley, Acadia Parish, Louisiana, contingent upon review by and approval of the city engineer as designated review agent of the city of the Crowley Planning Commission, and I so move.
All right, offered and seconded. Mr. Mader, are we in order?
I'll give you 2 minutes. It's all good.
My apologies, I was not following along with the committee paperwork here. I was just on the agenda. Offered and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, so, let's see. So I guess I got to number 3 then?
Yeah.
Or let me, that's all right. I'll make sure I get it correct. I didn't see it. Well, where's the, that's that one. Where's the?
Yeah, the minutes of the
514.
committee.
Is there a certain way you want to ask that? Okay. And then number 2, to consider a conditional use to occupy a learning center located 514 West 10th Street in the city of Crowley, Acadia Parish, and I so move.
Okay, offered by Alderman Reggie, second by Alderwoman Marks. Give me just a second. We do have someone who wants to speak. I don't think you need to, but you're welcome to. Okay, any discussion? Mr. Reggie.
So I did have some questions that were asked. That's good, thank you. So I dug a little bit in this residential district through the ordinances. So section 3.2, I think they're actually considered an R3, but it says refer back to R2, which refers back to R1. Under 30201, number 4, it does, under the, let's see, it says public schools, both elementary and high, or private schools having a curriculum essentially of the same as ordinary offered in a public elementary school or public high school, and private or public nursery school or kindergartens, which I feel that what they're trying to do falls underneath that for the R1. And then the question that I did have earlier today too was about the parking. So when I went back to see what parking is for that, let's see here, schools, public and private. I guess I'd have a question for, is he here?
He is here, so,
Could I ask him a question?
yes, go ahead.
Because the question would be, because it's going to depend on your spaces that you're needed. How many classrooms, laboratories, or manual training shops do you have or will have with this school that you're putting together?
I have 3 restrooms, and I have 2 classrooms.
Okay, so by this, it says you need 2 spaces for parking per classroom. So that would tell me that you need 4 parking spaces based off of this.
Yes, sir.
So do you have 4 parking spaces?
4 parking spaces can be in the driveway. Yes, sir.
Okay, well then, I think I'm done with that. 'Cause
Okay.
That's what the ordinance asks.
So what we found over the last week,
Okay,
doing some more research, and Alderman Core sent me an email about it also. This is R3, which covers R1 and 2, as you mentioned, and it is allowed in R1, 2, 3. So it really didn't even need to go before planning and zoning because it is allowed. What's that? But- Correct. It doesn't need the conditional use because it is allowed in that zoning. We can still, I'm pretty certain on how you all were gonna vote on this, so we can still vote on it, move it forward and be done with it. And then he can move forward with his training, center. If you want to add into that motion about, him making sure that he has the proper parking spaces, like, basically following the ordinance, and then he's good to go.
Yes, I would like to amend the motion that the required parking spaces are met for the requirements for this particular use. As I understand, those spaces have to be functional. Basically, you can't have one car blocking another one in. They have to be functional spaces. But I think if it goes back to our permit department and they look into that, I'm good with it as long as we're not blocking the public streets with vehicles
and get complaints, and then they get citations for blocking traffic in both directions. I don't want that to happen to you. So, if that's covered, and looked into, then I'm good with it.
So in other words, the 4 parking spots can't be blocking each other in a driveway. They need to be 4 separate parking spots is what is considered a parking spot.
Along with hard surfacing, either 4 inches of limestone, gravel, or something. It can't just be on the earthen surface.
On the dirt.
And I'll probably say too, by the ordinance, so if you decide to add another classroom, you would need 2 more parking spaces to
Sure.
add to that. So
Sure.
if he grows it, he has to grow the parking with it.
So, so would you want to make your motion that, it is contingent on applying to the ordinance, basically, with parking? Yes, okay. Mr. Martin?
You just mentioned the parking, and just looking at the building itself, I'm pretty sure that you can always add concrete where it won't be blocking, in other words, front, back, cars to cars, just to make the flow.
Yeah, he's pretty confident he's got enough parking there.
Oh, yeah,
For his
yeah, he should have,
employees.
should have.
Okay, so Mr. Reggie's motion is, we gotta figure this out. To approve the zoning and annexation, the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation, and require the parking spaces be adhered to. Correct.
I'm
Sounds
good
good.
with that. I just want to say, I visited the property 3 times, and the frontage of the building does allow for expansion for more parking, provided that whatever surface that is adequate. I just want to be clear that this is, since it is R3, it's not a conditional.
It is not, but we're gonna,
Adhere
we're
to
gonna
the parking.
adhere to the
yeah,
conditional
that's
use
great.
and move forward with
Okay,
that.
and I'm good with that.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then
Very
he'll be able
nice
to do it.
facility, by the way.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
And abstain.
Mr. Martin abstains. Motion passes. You're good to go.
All righty. I'd just like to say to the board, thank you very much for the opportunity to expand.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Good luck.
All righty.
Thank you. Yes. All right, Mr.
Sorry
Reggie.
about that, I flipped my paper.
No,
Okay.
we're good.
So, under non-action items, City Engineer Tim Mater presented his report. The council would like more information about the subdivide on Lot 3 owned by Dixie Field Properties, which I think was emailed to us, if you need to see that. Mr. Jasper St. Andre, owner of the property located at 514 West 10th Street, spoke about the property and all the upgrades he had made to the property. He invited all the council to visit his daycare anytime they would like. Mayor Monso discussed his concerns about having a business in a residential neighborhood. Many members of the council asked Mr. St. Andre questions. Vicki Milson, who lives in the neighborhood, spoke in full support of Mr. St. Andre's daycare. She said he has brought blighted property and repaired it, and there was no further business to come before Zoning and Annexation Committee, and the committee recessed.
Thank you, Mr. Reggie. Let's see, Public Safety Committee. Alderman Core, please.
Thank you, Mayor. The Public Safety Committee convened Tuesday, December 10th, 2024 at 5 p.m. in the council chambers, and a quorum was present. Under action items, a motion was made by myself and seconded by Alderman Jeff Dorey to approve the 2025 beer and liquor new and renewal licenses. Alderman Samuel Reggie recused himself from the vote, and the motion carried. In the minutes of the committee, we have the 2 renewals, Cusio's Food Mart and Asian Buffet, and the agenda for today also includes Rice Palace Exit 80, Hangover LLC, and Rice Palace Incorporated Restaurant. And I would like to make the motion to approve these permits for the 2025 renewal.
Second.
Offered by Alderman Corr, second by Alderwoman Marks. Discussion? All in, Mr. Reggie?
I'm going to recuse myself from the vote, but the question would be is, we didn't get any information. You know, we get the little packet with all the problems. Did any of these other people have any problems?
Yes, when I reviewed them previously during the November meeting, I did look at all of these, and they were good.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
A motion was made by myself and seconded by Alderman Jeff Dorey to approve the new 2025 beer and liquor license pending the owner of Crowley Corky's LLC complete the permit application for a new license as opposed to the renewal license. Alderman Sammy Reggie recused himself from the vote, and the motion carried, and I so move.
Offered by Alderman Corr. Second by Alderman Dorey. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Alderman Reggie recused here also. Motion carries.
Thank you. A motion was made by myself and seconded by Alderman Jeff Dorey to approve the request by Police Chief Troy Hebert to purchase an E4 software upgrade for his department at a cost of $15,000 plus the annual license fee of $2,250. The motion carried, and I so move.
That went to Revenue and Finance.
It did. It was referred.
Yep.
So you want to strike that from?
But that's not even on the, it was tabled. It was tabled. That was tabled.
Okay.
No, it was asked that he spends his budget before he comes,
That is correct.
yes, so that was tabled.
Under non-action items, Chief of Police Troy Hebert presented his report. Fire Chief Luis Romero presented his report. He gave the council pictures of the new fire trucks that are in the production process. Chief Romero talked to the council about filing for the AFG grant. The mayor said to put this request on the council meeting agenda. City Inspector Tony Duhan presented his report to the council. Attorney Michael Landry updated the council concerning the removal of fluoride from water service provided by Lawco. Attorney Landry stated that this would require a vote from the citizens of Crowley because we have more than 5,000 water connections in the city. Mayor Monsell told the council that the administrative hearing judge will begin proceedings on blighted property January 17th, 2025. The judge will be provided 5 properties per month. Alderman Chuck Ashby asked how many homeowners that were given 6 months to demolish or remodel their home actually did so. Police Chief Hebert gave an update on the purchase of vehicles. He ordered 4 new trucks and purchased 2 used Tahoe from surplus. There was no further business come before the committee, and the committee recessed.
Thank you, sir. Okay, public buildings, Alderman Dorey.
Thank you, Mayor. Public Buildings Committee convened Tuesday, December 10th, 2024, 5 p.m. City Council chambers. Quorum was present. Under action items, Alderman Jeff Dorey made a motion to amend the agenda to include partial payment number 1 for Parks and Pavilion Project to Prestige Construction Group LLC in the amount of $101,935.00. This was seconded by Alderman Brad Corr. A roll call was yes by all. Under action item number 2, a motion was made by Alderman Jeff Dorey, seconded by Alderman Brad Corr, to approve partial payment number 1 for Pavilion Project, Park and Pavilion Project to Prestige Group in the amount of $101,935.00. Non-action items, there were
We're gonna just vote on that. You wanna, we need a motion
I
to,
so move, Mayor.
I'll second.
offered by Alderman Corr, second by Alderman Reggie. Discussion? All in,
Mayor,
yes.
go ahead. I'm sorry, I just had one question
Okay.
regarding the water intrusion from subsurface.
I still have questions too.
Okay.
It's it's still a mystery. It's you know, Ben with Lawco says that the water table currently is about 70 feet, and at that 15 to 18 foot depth that we're at, that hole is certainly short of that 70 feet, but it continuously flows water into it. Lawco has done extensive testing and research, and has found no signs of a water leak on that block. They do have water leaks, somewhere on Mill, different areas, but there were none on that block. There were some tests done on the water to see if see if there was fluoride in it, and there was none found. I don't know. I'm you know, maybe it is possible that it's groundwater. I guess there's, you know, groundwater can be at different levels throughout the city. I don't know. So I mean, maybe it is the fountain of youth. Who knows? But do I look any younger? I was in it for a while, you know, but no, the contractor has been given orders to do what he needs to do to close in the hole and let the water flow where it needs to flow, as it probably obviously always has. We might be able to drill, if it wouldn't be under the slab of the building itself, maybe we could drill a well there and have free water, but Mr. Martin, yes, sir.
I was just about to say, as long as it's not taking any money away from the city, try and cap it and leave it alone. That's
Yeah.
the thing to do.
That we just, so the contractor has orders to proceed as he needs to remedy that situation. But it is still a mystery where it's coming from.
Thank you for the update.
The tests, the soil samples, or the whatever, who was it that came in and did the test before? Whatever they call it, whatever the test they did find that at about 15 foot in certain spots, that water did enter the holes that they drilled. So it's there. That's where it's at. It's where the old rice pit was. I have a picture in my office. I'd love for y'all to come by and look at. But it shows, and I saw the same picture at the library on the wall in the archive place room. But it shows an aerial view. Now the plaque on it says 1921. What year was the first bank building built?
First National.
1928, I believe.
I think that's when it opened. I think it was built before that. Anyway, this picture, the plaque on it says 1921, but the picture is obviously taken from the roof of the first bank at two different directions, and then another picture from the top of the courthouse then looking south. But you can see that property where the pavilion is being built, and there was a building on the back side of it, on the west side of that property, pretty much where the pavilion is going to be, and the east side of that property was all grass, and I think there's a couple of cattle on that property. So it's kind of, we're didn't realize it, but we're kind of going back to what it was in 1920s. Building on the west side of the property and grass area on the east side of the property, but it's pretty cool. There's also a building, the grassy area along the tracks, between front and the tracks, in that block was one large building. That whole piece of property was a building there. So it's interesting to see some of the history. But they're moving along with it.
Thank you.
All right,
We got a vote.
any more? Nothing? Do we have a second on that?
Yes, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, with no more items to come before us, we then recess.
Thank you, sir. Insurance and Personnel, Alderwoman Marks.
On Tuesday, December the 10th at 5 p.m., the Insurance and Personnel Committee met. We had a quorum. There were no action items and non-action items, and the committee recessed.
Thank you, ma'am. Community Economic Development, Alderwoman Shasso.
Thank you. The Community and Economic Development Committee convened Tuesday, December 10th, 2024, 5:00 p.m. in the council chambers. A quorum was present. There were no action items. Under non-action items, Alderwoman Katie Chasson informed the council of events happening in our community, and there were quite a few. There was no further action to come before the Community and Economic Development Committee, and the committee recessed.
Thank you, ma'am. Just an update, the ice skating, there were over 700 releases, waivers, signed on the Saturday of Christmas in Crowley, in one day. So it's very well attended.
Also,
And I
we
want to
need
go
some
on
more
record.
volunteers to
We
come
could
out and
definitely
help.
use volunteers to go out and help. Not any manual labor, just trying to watch kids and make sure things are happening. We certainly can still use volunteers out there. But I also want to go on record and say that Christmas in Crowley was not me. I did get a lot of thanks and praise, but I did not do it. That you got to give credit where credit is due, and Crowley Main Street put on Christmas in Crowley. They did a fine job, as they always do. And this year, the Crowley Fire Department and Crowley Rotary Club chose to, I guess, somewhat partner with Main Street and have the Christmas parade basically finish off Christmas in Crowley. And it turned out to be a very, very well-attended event, both the Christmas in Crowley event and the parade. So lots and lots of people enjoyed it. Families came out and really enjoyed it. And then we showed Rudolph at the Rice Theater at 7, and that was very well attended also. Lots of families showed up there for that. So it was great, a great day.
Could I just mention that we did get a lot of compliments on the moon pies?
You know, so just a quick point as to why we have gone to moon pies, as you well know. You know, we go to these Keep Louisiana Beautiful conferences and LMA conferences and all. And as you well know, with our parades, after the parades are an absolute mess. It's fun to catch all the candy, but it's expensive. The throws are expensive in parades, so people buy Tootsie Rolls that the street sweeper will not pick up, and they melt on the road even for the Christmas parade from the heat, and you know, all the other little candies, and each and every one of those candies is accompanied by a wrapper, a piece of paper, and it makes an absolute mess. And so, talking with the council and those of us who've been in the parades, the moon pies are a great option because I haven't seen any moon pies left behind. So they actually, not only do they not make the mess like the candy, but they actually take them home. And unlike most of the candy that's still on the road. So if we could try and start a little movement to minimize the candy thrown at parades and have other items that's not so messy. But yeah, the moon pies have been a hit. Thank you. Revenue and Finance, Alderman LaChale.
Thank you, Mayor. The Revenue Finance Committee convened Tuesday, December the 10th, 2024, at 5 p.m. in the council chambers. A quorum was present. We had one action item. Alderman Dickey Lachele made a motion to table the approval request by Police Chief Troy Hebert to purchase an eForce software upgrade for his department at a cost of $15,000, plus the annual license fee of $2,250 for the funding of this expenditure. It was seconded by Alderman Vernon Martin, and I so move.
No, that was tabled.
Table, all right. Okay, okay. So I'll move on to the regular agenda item. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, on action items, we have the approval request to purchase 5 used trucks for the general administration and street departments in the amount up to $100,000, and I so move.
Offered by Alderman Lachele, second by Alderman Reggie. Discussion. FYI, that's what I'm gonna let you know. So, I was wrong again. We can't, that's twice, Katie. Katie's keeping track of this. Steve, put your ink pen down. It turns out we can purchase used vehicles. After a few phone calls and emails, and Wesley was told by Lamatz to go to Boardwalk Motor Cars. And so Wesley goes to their website. He pulls up some vehicles, some trucks that he would be interested in getting. And what's that? Well, I'm gonna finish this and I'll tell you why we can't do that though. And then calls the salesman, and he's like, yeah, you know, this price, this, and whatever. And so Wesley sends them to me, and I'm like, well, but how did he tell you how we can do this? Because if Lamatz is sending us there, then obviously we can do it. They know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. This is what they do. But I didn't know how we could buy used vehicles. So turns out there's a state law that, you know what that law is, Mr. Martin?
Piggybacking on other cities or what have you.
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing.
It's not, so
Right.
we've got a resolution that we're gonna pass, and Title 59 allows the council to give permission to the mayor to purchase these vehicles. You should have a copy of that resolution in your packet. There are lots of situations like this that we could get some good vehicles and save some money and not have to go through state contract and buy a new vehicle. And so this state law allows that. So I talked with Cliff Palmer, and Cliff's like, I said, how can we do this? And he says, well, here's the way. You know, so which is what Lamatz is about. They're there, and I encourage any other city that's looking for some vehicles, and Cliff said that. He said, just send them to us. We'll be happy to help. Nothing, Lamatz gets nothing from this. There's no fees to Lamatz for this. It's just information from Lamatz that this resolution that is drafted, that we're going to ask for you to pass, is going to allow us to purchase these used vehicles. This is a one-time thing. This resolution is for these vehicles. It doesn't give me permission to continuously buy used vehicles throughout the year. If we find some more for other purposes, then we'll have to come back for another resolution for that purpose, specific to that transaction. The reason you say it says general administration and street department. We're getting 5 trucks. 4 of them is going to the street department. Animal control is currently using general administration's truck because theirs are broke. We're going to leave them in that truck and get it's a Chevy Colorado, a smaller truck, that is gonna be for City Hall to go to bank and post office and all of that good stuff. So that's why we said one for general administration, because that one's actually going to animal control. So we're taking care of 3 departments with this, and there's some really good shape.
So Mayor, did you pick out all these trucks already?
I did not, Wesley did, but they
Wesley?
are picked out.
You ready to
and-
go?
And we have plans to get in the vehicle tomorrow morning with a check and drive to
All
pick them up.
right, let's go for it.
If you approve it. Offered by Alderwoman Marks, second by Alderman Ashby. Any more discussion? Oh, wait, no, it was already made. Offered by Alderman Lachele, second by Alderman Reggie. That was discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
What can
The
I
money
do?
comes from the general fund.
Okay.
Mr. Martin.
You know, everybody laughs at it, but through transparency, I am on the board of Lamatts. I don't want nobody calling here from other cities talking about the only reason why Crowley got it, because there's one of their board members. I just want to make sure.
No.
that we don't make a dime off it. We
That-
just
that's-
give it away.
And that's right. And Lamatts has nothing to do with it, except for the information, giving the information out.
Okay.
All right.
There be no further business to come for the committee recessed.
Okay, next, ordinances, no ordinances, resolutions. A resolution of the mayor and board of aldermen of the city of Crowley, Acadia Parish, Louisiana, adopting Article 3, source, selection, and contract formation, Subpart A, methods of source selection for the purchase of used equipment. Offered, yes, this is a resolution for the purchase of vehicles. Offered by Alderwoman Marks, second by Alderman Core. Discussion. Roll call.
Chuck Ashby? Yes. Katie Chasson? Yes. Brad Core?
Yes.
Jeff Dorey? Dickie Lachele? Vernon Martin? Sandy Marks? Samuel Reggie?
Yes.
Unanimous.
And last but certainly not least, the resolution to enter into a CEA with the Acadia Parish Tourist Commission and the police jury for the artifacts of the Rice Museum and the operations of such. A motion by Alderman Martin, second by Alderwoman Marks. Discussion. All in favor, or let's do a roll call for that one too.
I do have some discussion.
Yes, ma'am.
This is for
Microphone, please.
on the museum itself, the physical property. I know the contents, but my question is this: are you all taking over the physical building as well?
Push.
The building still is owned by the parish as well as the property, and it's going to stay that way. We're entering into the CEA to take the possession of the contents that's in the building as well as the exterior contents, like the farm equipment and other things that's out there.
Yeah, I just wanted that clarity on it.
And we're assigning the lease to them also.
Yes.
They're gonna take care of the lease
The,
of the building itself.
the city has been in a lease with the parish for $1 every, I don't know, 100 years or whatever it is, and we are gonna take over that lease. So, I mean, I guess there will be some possession in there with the building, but the building still is owned by the parish, and the property is owned by the parish.
I just wanted some clarity on that, because at one time we talked about the sale, but wasn't who owned it,
Yeah.
and we needed to move
We
it. So-
definitely have had a lot of inquiries in trying to figure out exactly who owned what and where it belonged. And Mr. Thomas and several other attorneys have been involved, ours and the parish. So we've figured all that out, and everybody's come to an agreement. So,
That's what we had talked about earlier. You plan on moving it to the,
yes, we
out
have
there.
a building that we are leasing, that we are going to get all of the farm equipment and everything that's on the exterior out and get it in, under cover, so that it can start being salvaged and restored. And then all of the stuff that's in the Rice Museum, we have several entities like the library and a couple of others that are gonna work together on, days where we can go in and salvage that stuff, and there's fumigation and other stuff that has to happen to those items, and they'll go in containers into a climate controlled storage area. And then, the Tourist Commission's goal is to build a building, convention center within the next 3 to 4 years, and we're gonna house a lot of those items in there.
What is your timeline to actually get all the artifacts, move the building? Do you have a?
They're
We're
not
gonna
moving the
move
building.
You're not gonna
We are
move the,
absolutely not moving the building. Our goal is to salvage and/or restore the items that are on the property as well as the items in the building.
well, where does the lease come in? The building,
The building and the property,
and
yes.
it'll stay there?
It'll stay there,
It'll
yes.
stay
Okay.
there.
It
Unless-
still belongs to the police jury.
it still belongs
But
to
you'll
the-
lease it?
Yes.
We're just taking over the lease that the city has had for all these years. It's, like I said, it's a
Yeah,
dollar amount. It basically takes the city out, but it was my goal to make sure, the Tourist Commission's goal, to make sure that we did this as a group. And what I mean by that is there's been many entities that have tried to do this and not been successful. So I figured if we did it as a group, you know, the city, the parish, the library, us, you know, the chamber has volunteered to help too. So if we do it as a group, then we might be successful in salvaging a lot of this history there that is definitely going to be lost if we don't do something. So Chad and I went in.
This is great.
What,
This is,
3 weeks ago, a month ago, and there's a lot of things in it that are still in really good condition and able to be taken out and protected.
And the reason, because you and I had gone originally in 2022 and looked at it, we weren't sure who owned it, but we did have some people come, like we had talked before, that it was interested in purchasing it. They had gotten the estimates like we had talked. So rather than keeping that in play, we do know now it's owned by the
the
parish.
police jury, correct.
All right, that's the
Yes, ma'am.
clarity that I need.
It is for sure owned by the police jury, and there is documentation to prove that. So, and if there's something that comes up where somebody would want that building, I'm sure that is a workable situation. So,
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor,
Mr.
I'd
Core,
just like to express my sincere appreciation for this effort. This is something that, when I was on the prior council, we worked very diligently to get done, and nothing ever happened. And I can't tell you how grateful I am that you've gotten together, Wendy Harrington with the Tourist Commission Executive Director. You're doing fabulous. And
Thanks, Mr.
it's a breath of fresh air, knowing what's in that building, knowing that it's continuing to deteriorate, and that something's finally being done.
well, I'll tell you real briefly, we were in there that day, and there was a clock up on a shelf, and where the roof had been damaged for Hurricane Rita, which has been repaired, but that clock had gotten wet. And Miss Charlotte had labeled everything in there and where it came from, and this clock was dated 1883. And I looked at Chad and said, please don't let this fall apart when I take this down. But I said, the Tourist Commission has possession of this clock. And it's sitting on our mantle in our building at the moment. But my heart sunk. I just could not leave that. And I'll say this again, I've said it 100 times. I'm very grateful to be here. I love my job, but I come from a place where we have lost so much in Cameron Parish that I just do not want to see that happen here. It's vital to save this stuff because there's so much history here, and Mr. Thomas and I have talked about so many different things, and I think that we have an opportunity as a group to do something really, really
Wendy,
fabulous.
we're very glad that you're here also, and we were talking earlier, remember we were talking about the bells?
yes.
And they're refurbishing the Presbyterian church. We think we've.
Maybe.
Maybe. We know they're refurbishing, but they're missing a bell. And we know one
Maybe.
possibly came out of the.
Oh,
old
the
court-
one that's at the Rice Museum came out of the old courthouse that blew up many years ago, and that one, that's what that
Right.
is. The dates on it coincide with all of, for the
Right.
time when it was built as well as when it was destroyed, so,
This is
yeah.
like discovering the Titanic
Yes,
all over
yes.
again.
Listen, if you haven't been in that
And
building.
I love puzzles, so this is great.
Yeah, if you haven't been in that building, you would know, it's not gonna be an easy task. For many years, that's been neglected and allowed to, get into the condition it's in. Brad, I'll tell you, once again, Wendy is to blame for this. She came to me, and of course, I was happy to help move this along, but without her will and interest in doing this, we wouldn't have been able to do it. So she's the one to thank for that.
Well, in the first 2 weeks that I was here, I was approached about 7 different times by different individuals asking, could we do something? Is there something we could do? And we got lucky. COVID was not a blessing for a lot of people, but it worked in our benefit in the fact that the Tourist Commission was able to get some revital money. And when we did, we were able to use some of that towards this project. So it just worked out.
Wendy, I wanted to say, you know, that desk on the second floor, which is a calligrapher's desk.
Oh, cool.
I believe came out of the courthouse because Donald's uncles were calligraphers. That's everything was done.
Yeah.
And we believe that may have come out of one of the.
There is a bag full of documentation from Miss Charlotte that I have possession of, and that Claire Dore and I are going to start going through after the first of the year. And we will
Let me
have
share something about that
volunteer
desk.
days. Sir?
Mr. Henry Dusson, who was been on this downtown and doing so many things, but Mr. Henry worked in the courthouse for many, many years as an abstractor, and one of the best in them. If you go back and look at the documents in the courthouse, the old documents, the copies are all made by hand, and they were done on that desk in calligraphy. That's why.
Wow.
That's why that desk is there. That,
I have a document from the 1800s for some property that my husband's family owned in the Mermentau Cove area, and it's all written out in calligraphy. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Thank you, Wendy. Y'all go sit with Wendy. She's got a lot of information. Thank you. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Mader, you have a report for us? Thank you, sir.
Yes, Merry Christmas to all.
And that was the last thing. So everyone have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. We need a motion to adjourn. Offered by Alderman Corr, second by Alderman Ashby. All in favor? Opposed? Nobody wants to oppose?